Hello team, welcome to your day 6. It's the flow practice where we bring together everything we learnt from day 1 and 5 into one long practice. So if you haven't visited those videos, feel free to check it out. Otherwise, you can just start here and you'll see everything. But if you want to work on anything else, obviously go back to those days. So starting on the ground, we're going into curls of the hips, hands just beside you. And then we're just going to lift that bum a little bit off the ground, little tipping of the hips. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you flatten the back and you roll the bum off the ground a little bit. So not too high, as we're just warming up through the back, activating each of that vertebrae to try to get a little bit more warm and limber through the back. So all the moves today will be 50 seconds long with the 10 seconds in between to give your body a little bit of a shakeout or just to give you some time to move into the next movement. But just look out for the preview videos to see what's coming up next. Good, releasing the knees here. Okay, we're coming into crunches, so the legs will stay on the ground. Hands go behind the head. As you exhale, lift up and drop down. Crunching into the center. Make sure that you're breathing out as you lift, pulling the belly button in, and the back stays flat. Feet on the ground are just about a hip width apart. Same space between the knees and feet here, just to stabilize. Good. Next move is the arms alternating behind the head. Legs stay exactly as it is for now. Fingertips pointed up towards the roof. Exhale as you drop the arm next to your ears on either side. Careful not to flare out through the chest. You want to keep that torso nice and still and controlled, as with all movements in Pilates. Good job, team. Keep going with that movement. We're almost done. And relax the arms all the way down beside you. Let's do alternating legs now. Knee over hips. And then we're just going to tap the toes down to the ground one at a time. Careful not to arch through the back. Try to keep as best as you can to keep your body flat. Sometimes what I do is I put 2 fingers just below my belly button and push it down a little bit. And as I move my legs down, I don't want to feel like my stomach is popping up against my fingers. And then you're breathing out as you drop. Inhale as you come in. So you don't want to feel the pop sensation, which means you start to not use your deep core anymore. You're kind of a bit more working through your top ab, which is sometimes a little bit more of a strain on the lower back area. Good, having a little bit of rest there. All right, so the next move, we're going to integrate the arms and legs together. So arms drop, legs drop, toe taps, and then arms, but we're doing opposite arm and leg. So if your right leg is dropping down, then your left arm is going beside your ear. Just so it's easier to balance out through the body. This is your dead bug move. Again, it's exhale as you move the legs down. Inhale as you bring them back into center at tabletop position. Good. Letting the knees fall side to side a little bit, or having a stretch in your lower back, arms extended, and drop to one side with the knees. Exhale to the other. All right, our next move is coming into a full bridge now. So we've done the pelvis curls, and let's go into that full bridge. So hands can stay beside you. Similar to the pelvis curls that you did for the first move, but you're just lifting it high now. So you want to draw a diagonal line from your hip line all the way up to the knees. As you lift the hips, exhale and lift the arms just above the shoulders. And drop down. Exhale to lift, inhale to drop. So if you're just starting out, this is your week 1 exercises. Week 1 is really good for my beginners or people that are just getting back into Pilates to start here. And then as the further 2 weeks go on, they start to get a little bit more intensive using all the base movements that you learned in week 1 to get it done in week 2 and 3. Good. Switch the knees always, just to release out that lower back. All right, we're going into leg circles, extending the legs out. We're going to start with the right leg, lift up to the roof, open out to the side and come back in. As I said in the other videos where you're working on technique for day 2, you're trying to keep the opposite side from lifting off the ground. So even though I'm trying hard, sometimes I find the opposite side does lift, especially if I lapse in concentration. It will just come tumbling off. You'll feel a space behind your glutes, but you want to try to keep it nice and flat. So up, out, and down is the first move on the right leg. We're going to do both sides and then we're going to change directions later on. Good. All right, having that little bit of rest, your left leg is now going to do all the movement. It's going to lift up to the roof there, and then it's going to open out to the side and come back in. So this way you can see my right hip a little bit. It does move a little because as that leg swings out to the side, it is tricky to hold it nice and still, which is why the concentration is there. I breathe it out and pull my belly button tight like there's a sort of corset wrapped around my belly to the floor, and I'm trying to keep it nice and steady. Good. All right, releasing it down. So we're going to go back to the right leg. This time the leg is going to start low. It's going to swing out to the right side along the ground, lift it up to the roof, and then put it down. So we're just reversing the circles. You started the other way first on the right side, and this side you're going to skim across the ground and then lift up. Again, try hard not to move that body too much. It is tricky. I tend to do it as well, especially if I feel like I'm getting a little bit tired or I start to let my mind wander somewhere else and I forget to engage that center of the body. Good, have a little bit of moment. All right, we're going back to that left leg. Final leg circles on the left, across the ground, low, lift up and bring it down and circle it out. Around and round we go. Alright, having that little bit of moment, we're going to go back into the dead bug. So we did it earlier today. This is your second round of it. Knees over hips. Remember, opposite leg and arm are moving at the same time. I'm going to give you a level 2 option now because we start with level 1. This is your level 2 where the legs are starting to extend longer. So the longer the leg goes and the lower it goes, the harder your core has to work. So at the start, you did toe taps all the time. You can always stick with that, especially if you're not ready for the extension, or you find that your lower back arches because your core is not quite there yet. Totally fine. Everybody's different, but as you want the challenge, you can always alternate. I can do a few with my legs straight. I can do a few back to the toe tap when my abs start to get a bit more exhausted. Good. All right, coming up onto the side, we're going to lie onto the right side of the body. That bottom arm is your pillow. Knees are stacked in front, hips are stacked, and then we're just going to clam. So this is to activate your glutes a little bit, lifting your top knee up and down, keeping that hip from twisting. We want to keep it nice and steady in everywhere else. Pull out the belly button. This is really good just to start to engage your glutes. A lot of people don't know how to squeeze their glutes or get it to activate. This is quite a good move for a beginner also to start, or even if you're a regular at Pilates, you can do these moves just to start to warm up through the glutes. All right, coming over to the other side. A lot of runners do these, especially if they want to engage your glutes or turn it on or sort of wake it up just before they start to activate. These are a few good ones to do. Doesn't take too long. Heels touching, knees opening and close. Breathe out as you lift, inhale as you drop. Great work. 10 more seconds to go. Great. And coming over onto your backs for me, just to give you a quick little release of the glutes. You're just going to take that right leg, hook it over the left, open up the knee a little bit, especially if your glutes are a bit sore. This is a great move to do. Even if throughout the exercises you find that your glutes are sore, doing a figure 4 stretch on your back. It's quite a nice release there for the hips and bum. All right, let's come over onto the hands and knees now. We're going to do a push-up. Knees underneath the hips for my level 1s, bending your elbows to the side, hands underneath the chest in about a diamond shape form. Level 2s, you are bringing your knees back a little bit further, making sure your bum is lower than your shoulders a little bit. And we're going to bend so that the chest comes in line with the bend of the elbows. So halfway between the floor and where you are starting at. You breathe out as you drop. Stomach is still pulled in even though your arms are working. If your stomachs are pulled in, it just for some reason makes your arms feel like they're a little bit lighter. And this is a little bit more doable. Good. Pull back. If you shake up the arms, you can. Otherwise, lower yourself down onto the mat. Let's start to work your back muscles. So arms are extended up above. Think about elongating and then alternating arms lifting up to cover your ears. We're trying to get the arms to lift. Chest stays on the ground. Eye gaze are looking to the floor. So my forehead is not sitting on the floor. It's slightly floated. I'm trying to keep the back of my head in a long line to my spine. So it helps you with your posture. And you want to lift the arms, 1, to strengthen the shoulders, two to strengthen the upper back, and just to pull the shoulders back, especially for those of you who find that your shoulders are a bit more rounded or you're sitting all day long hunched over. These are great exercises to do. Good, give a little bit of rest. All right, let's focus in on the legs. Then bring the arms underneath the chin. Just relax the upper body a bit. Think about a nice long leg now on either side. Try not to move the opposite hip or hips even on the side that you're lifting. Upper body stays relatively firm. I find a lot of people, when they start to move their bottom part of their body, the upper body sort of bounces because they're trying to use the upper body to sort of push down into the ground. But you are aiming to keep it still. Your belly is still drawn in, keeping like a pea-size shape underneath the belly button or blueberry. So there's a bit of spacing as you breathe upwards. Good. All right, have a little moment. We're going to go into a slow swim, arms extended. So opposite arm and leg are lifting now. Think about nice length. So don't worry about height at the start. I generally think about lengthening. So as you lengthen your fingertips away from the toes, the limbs generally are easier to lift. And then if your right leg is lifting, your left arm is lifting up next to your ears. If you find that your legs get a cramp feeling, maybe not point the toes, have them flexed in towards you. It's a little bit nicer for the body. Good, and just relaxing it out. Coming back into a child's pose, and then we're going to stay on the knees. You can sit with your legs crossed. You don't have to tuck the knees underneath. Arms are just to the side and doing circles forward and back. This is start to just warm up through your shoulders and upper arm. Some people like to hold weights in the hand, especially when they start to get a little bit fitter in the arms. But if you're starting out no weights, it's totally fine. You'll still feel like this gradual burn that comes through the sensation of the arms, because it does get heavier as you keep holding the arms up into the air and doing circles. If you want the challenge, maybe in the 10 seconds rest, you don't take it, you just keep going, and then we move straight into the next move, which is reversing the circles. Give your shoulders a bit of a roll if you need to, starting to get a little bit achy. All right, as I said, the arms are just going to go back up and they're going to go back and forward. Instead of forward and back, you do the other way around. It doesn't matter really which way you started with your circles, because you get to do it the other way on the next round. If it didn't hurt or burn in the first round, maybe this is the round where you start to feel it, especially if you're continuously doing it for 2 minutes straight. Those of you that didn't opt for the 10-second rest, if you didn't, let me know how it feels. Hopefully it gets that little gradual burn coming through, which is not nice during it, but quite nice afterwards, because you feel that nice release and a bit of rush of relaxation through the shoulders after you do it. Nice, give your arms a little bit of a shake and roll there. Take one arm just across the chest for a little bit of release. And we're about to move into that next movement coming up on the screen for you. Just Release out through the back. All right, we're coming back onto the ground for me. We're going to 100s. This is all about the abs for the next couple of minutes. Legs at tabletop position, like you're hitting drums, chin tucks into the chest. If you find that your abs are feeling good, let's keep the head and shoulders up for as long as we can. Legs start to lift up to the roof into your 100s here. Make sure you choose your options because you've got a fair bit of abs for the next couple of rounds. Legs can start to lower down to 45 degrees if you wish to make it a little bit harder because you've only got less than 10 seconds to go here. No, I lied. 10 more seconds from here. And then you get a 10 seconds rest. Nice. All right. Have a little moment because we're going back to abs again. So we're going to do large scissor legs. One leg to the roof, the other one floating off the ground. One leg, one movement, hands going behind the leg closest to you. My level 2s, let's start to lift your head and shoulders up. Remember, if you want that challenge, you are going to keep your head and shoulders up right now. Eyes are looking always forward to the thighs. Don't hang your head back because I see a lot of that done in the class where people are just hanging their head right back there. Something that they're used to, but actually it strains the neck. So you want to pull it in so your neck doesn't strain. Keep it protected. Maybe helps you last a little bit longer. Nice. All right, have a little bit of moment. We're going to the double leg tuck and extension. We're going to bring the hands up towards the ankles and extend, exhale out. Inhale, swing it back in, exhale, come out. When the arms are going behind you, you are letting your head and shoulders go down. And then you're pressing the legs out at 45 degrees if possible. Keep going into those circles there. Extending it out. All right, coming into that next move, we're going into plank position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees are back behind your hips. My level 1s, you're going to keep your knees down and just hold your chest between the hands. And then the option, of course, is the level 2 option where we tuck the toes and lift the knees. Make sure your bum is in line with your shoulders and not lower than that because it hurts your lower back. Maybe better to lift it just slightly higher than too low. So at least it doesn't infringe on your lower back. But ideally it's in line with your shoulders because it's nice and more effective on your deep core work right here. Release it out, shaking out the wrists if you need to. Last one, we're going to stack the elbows underneath the shoulders and then on your knees, again, my level 1, swinging your hips side to side. Level 2s, again, you've got the option to tuck your toes and lift the knees off the ground to make it a little bit harder right here. Or you can start from the very start. Always there's options. Like I said before, you can always choose to do a few on your knees, a little bit on your toes, and then come back to the knees. No need to be dedicated just to one stance. But of course the challenge is to do on your toes if you're feeling very zesty today, a bit energetic. Feel free to do the hard version. back, have a little moment. Drop down to the knees, stretch out the belly from this way, pulling out through the chest, lifting the eyes forward. Maybe up onto the hands even if you want a little bit more extension in that belly button. Compression in your lower back. And pull back into child's pose, bum towards the heels. All right, not much longer to go. We're going to go up and stand into your leg action. Have your legs about hip width apart, arms lifted, and dropping your glutes nice and low. Very close to the end of your full day flow practice. Good lot of workout. Of course, if you want to work on specific areas, refer to the individual days. Those videos are only about 5 to 6 minutes if you want to work on a specific area of your body. Otherwise, feel free to do this flow practice all over again if you want. But tomorrow coming up, it is a rest day, a little bit of a stretch, active stretch of the body, and a bit of relaxation if you want it. That would end your week 1 of the 21-day challenge. All right, straightening out the legs. We're going to balance into your right leg. Left leg is going to lift high up and down. So week 1, I call it foundation week because we're working on sort of the base moves in Pilates. And then coming up, as I said, to level week 2 and 3, it's a little bit more active. Moving from beginner to a little bit more intermediate levels, if you so choose. Leg is tricky. All right, giving it a shake. Sometimes that foot gets a little bit cramped up. We're going to shift that body weight over to the left side now. The right leg is lifting up and down. Tummy muscles pulled into the spine. Exhale to lift, inhale to drop. Shaking out the standing foot. All right, going down into your deep squat, and we're going to lift the heels up and down, alternating through, working on the flexibility of your foot, the muscles in your foot, and of course your calves and thighs are working strong. Hands just clasped in front of you. Just all you need to do is stay low. That is the important part of the workout. The lower you go, the harder your legs work. Try to drop your bum in line with the bend of the knees, not too high. If you're finding it too easy, it might just mean you need to drop like a few centimeters. A little bit of correction through the legs is all you need to start to get that leg activated on. Releasing the legs up. We're going into lunges on each side. So we're going to start with the right leg just in front, left leg steps behind about a meter or so, heels lifted at the back, aiming for 90-degree bends at the front and the back, back knees tapping towards the ground, keeping your body upright, and then squeezing your glute on the left as you're lifting up, so that make it feel a little bit lighter. You don't have to overwork the legs if you start to engage your glutes a little bit. very close to the end, team. If you can stay with me, just one more move, I believe, on the other leg for lounges, and then we're going to do a quick stretch, and then you'll be done. Good. Shaking out the legs. Let's turn your body to the other side. So left leg in front, right leg behind you. Knee coming down and up. Body stays upright. Drop and lift. So this time you're squeezing your glutes on the right side as you're lifting up to take that strain away from the legs. Shaking out those legs for me. Taking them a little bit wider. We're going to just start with a stretch on the side. So dropping down to the right side. Left leg is nice and straight. Good, and swinging to the other side. Turning your body to the right. Left leg pushes behind you, nice and straight. Elongating out your legs for me. And then hold on to that left foot if you've got balance. Or pop your hand onto a wall or something. And then swap to the other side for your leg. Right leg behind you, nice and straight into the ground. And then right leg lifted. If you're feeling a little bit extra stretch, I've got more videos, but tomorrow we will do a full body stretch and a bit of relaxation. So until then, hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye.